Finally, you revisit your favorite stupid and lazy pirates. This time one of your fellow pirates begins boasting that he can dive down into the water further than any other pirate here. Yes, it is a stupid idea, but you cannot let a fellow pirate boast of his greatness when you know you can swim deeper than he can. Are you going to chicken out? Play it safe? No way. With a quick playtime of 15 minutes for 2 to 4 pirates, Hold Your Breath is great pirate fun for the whole family. Hold Your Breath.
So, Hold Your Breath doesn't have many components to it. You're going to have your board out there. We're going to be setting up for a 5-player game, so everybody's going to get their own pirate man, and you'll put them up there on the surface to show that you are about to start your diving competition. The other thing you're going to have is a deck of cards, which is going to get shuffled. If you have the 5 to 6 player expansion, looks like this, you'll have a few cards in there that will have a 5 to 6 down there on the corner, and you want to make sure those are removed if you are playing with any fewer than 5 players. So that's the only thing that you need to worry about there in terms of deck setup. Otherwise, take all the cards, shuffle them together, and deal 5 cards to each player. The game might also have these stickers to put on your mans. Either use them or don't. Depends on how cartoony you want your game of Hold Your Breath to be. Once everybody has their hand of cards, the player who has most recently been swimming goes first. So Hold Your Breath plays out in 2 phases. You've got the descent phase and the ascent phase. The descent phase, you're going to be diving down as deep as you can go or as deep as you want to go. And in the ascent phase, you're going to be trying to get back up to the surface before time runs out or you run out of air and die. That's going to be the goal of the game, is to go deeper than anyone else, but not so deep that you can't get back up to the surface, because at the end of the game, if you don't make it back to the surface, you just lose regardless of how deep you went. So on your turn, you have a hand of cards. You can play as many of those cards as you want. The most important thing is that you need to play air on your turn. Regardless of anything else, you need to be able to play some air in order to just function on your turn. If you can't play any air out of your hand just because you have none, then you have to take a card from your hand, play it face down in front of you as a panic card. If you have no cards in your hand, then you can take a card from the discard pile, play it face down in front of you as a panic card. Panic is another concept in the game. If you have panic in front of you, then that means you need to get rid of that panic before you can do anything else. And the way you get rid of panic is by playing a calm card. You can only ever have 1 panic card in front of you at a time. If you don't have any calm cards to get rid of the panic, then the panic is in front of you and you will just not be able to do any swimming on your turn. Remember, swimming is how you dive deeper, so you want to be able to swim. So panic can be kind of a problem. Anytime you're looking at cards, they're going to have mostly a number and an icon in the upper left corner, and then a word or icon down here at the bottom. Basically, whenever you choose to play a card, you play it for its symbol in the upper left corner or its text or iconography on the bottom. So cards are dual use. Anytime you want to swim, you're going to play a number of air and swim movements in equal force in order to descend. So like, if I wanted to go down 5, I need 5 air and 5 swim. And that would mean that I can move my pirate 1 space, like so, because the spaces are in increments of 5. If you've got more air than swim, that's okay. So like 10 air and 5 swim would mean I can move to the 5. You also have this dolphin card, which can be anything. So you could say that this dolphin is another 10 swim. So that would mean I could go up to the 15 space if I played those 4 cards. You could also play cards for their bottom half instead of the symbol in the upper left corner. So like you could play calm to get rid of panic. You could play panic in front of someone else to make them panic on their turn. Remember, you can only have 1 panic card in front of somebody at a time. You could play this card on somebody to make them discard a card. They would choose a card from their hand and get rid of it, so they have fewer options on their turn. You could play this card so that you immediately draw a card from the deck and you have another option for yourself. The dolphin is wild. It can count as anything. You also have the Kraken, which can be used to force everybody to discard a card, or the Kraken can be used to get rid of a shark that's played in front of you. And a shark is basically just another panic, only they can stack up so you can have both panic and a shark in front of you at the same time, and you have to deal with it the same way you deal with panic by playing calm to get rid of it. But you could use your Kraken to get rid of a shark. So, the Kraken has two purposes. Sharks are bad news. Panic is bad news. Basically, you want to get rid of panic if you have calm in your hand. If you don't have calm and you can't deal with the panic, then you basically just play air on your turn. After a player's played all the cards they want to play on their turn, then they can discard any remaining cards they want and draw from the deck until they have 5 cards in their hand. Any cards they play are discarded unless they played a panic or shark on somebody else, because those stay in play in front of the other player until their turn and they get to resolve them. And then play passes to the left. The descent phase is going to keep going until a player draws the last card from the dive deck. And when that happens, that player will finish their turn, and each other player in the round will take a final turn so that everybody has the same number of turns. You won't reshuffle the discard pile to make a deck for those remaining turns, so people are just going to have to use whatever is remaining in their hands for that last turn. And if anybody has any panic or shark cards in front of them, they stay in front of them to start the next phase. And then the last thing you're going to do at the end of the descent phase is you're going to take your anchor piece and you're going to stick it at the same depth as where your pirate man ended up on the depth board. Now you're going to begin the ascent phase, where you'll shuffle a discard pile, create a new dive deck, deal everybody cards until they have 5 cards in their hand, and then the player who is closest to the surface is going to take the first turn. The ascent phase works just like the descent phase. You have to play air on your turn, you have to swim up. You're trying to get to the surface now. You'll notice that these players down here managed to get quite a ways down, and that means it's going to be much more difficult for them to get back up to the surface. However, if they do manage to get to the surface, they will have a higher score at the end of the game. So you have to make a decision as you're going down how deep you want to go. Because if you only go down, 2 or 3 steps, then it'll be easier to get back to the surface, but then you also will be a lot easier to beat if someone else chose to go farther. The ascent phase is going to end in one of 2 ways. It'll end when a player draws the last card from the top of the dive deck, just like the descent phase. Player draws the last card, will finish their turn, and everybody else gets an equal number of turns, and then the game will end. The other thing that could happen is if the player who's at the deepest depth on the board manages to get to the surface, that will also trigger the end of the game. If multiple players are at the deepest depth, then the ascent phase will end when the first of those players will reach the surface. So you have a bit of a race thing going on here. If you manage to get up to the surface and you didn't have the deepest pirate, so say this guy manages to get up here, and the game is still going along, at that point all that player is going to be doing is basically playing panic and sharks and the Kraken on other players, trying to wear them down so they don't manage to get to the surface. Because at the end of the game, the winner is going to be whoever had the deepest anchor and manages to make it up to the surface. Anybody who does not make it up to the surface just loses outright. So it's possible that everyone could lose if nobody makes it to the surface. I guess it's also possible that one player might never dive at all if they, in the descent phase, never manage to go down. They'd just be on the surface to begin with, and they would only win if everybody else managed to fail to not get to the surface. So anyway, that's how you play Hold Your Breath.
So I can play as many as I want?
Yeah. You resolve a whole card and you
play any more cards.
Yeah.
So what do you mean I resolve?
So you can't start doing a card and do another card and go back to the first card. So you have to do
in order.
Each card at one at a time.
But first you have to get air, right?
If you want to swim, you gotta use air. But you gotta play at least one air.
Yep. Okay, I'm doing that one.
Okay.
So is that 5 air?
You got 5 air.
I'm gonna go 5.
Okay, so swim down 5.
Can I get air for next turn? Is that a thing?
I don't think that's how it works.
I don't think so, yeah.
Okay.
It's on this turn.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to draw 2 as my action kind of thing. That's right? Is that right?
It's just draw a card. It's not,
draw a card?
It's not a number. It's just draw a card.
So I'm going to draw a card.
Yeah.
And
you could play that card that you just drew. Like, that's the whole point of it, because otherwise you'll just draw it.
if I play a panic, it plays a panic on
Somebody else. Yep.
Anybody else?
Yep, somebody else.
And then they can't...
They can't swim until they play a calm.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to play a panic then on... Actually, no, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. Is it down that I was
No, it's fine.
Okay,
You
I'm
just
going to
know
wait.
you've got that panic in your hand.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to wait.
Okay, so you're going to
Draw
draw
up to 5.
up to 5, so you're going to draw 2 cards.
I don't really have anything I could.
If people want to, when they're playing cards, kind of play them
Oh.
Close
nearish
to the middle,
to
yeah,
the
so that they'll
board.
be in the camera. That'd be good.
Is it my turn?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I
will
take some air.
dump
Do I? Okay, I have to do air regardless.
have to
You
do
have
it.
to do at least 5 air.
Regardless.
Yep.
I don't have anything I can.
No flippers?
Can you? You need the same amount of air to move that spaces,
Yep.
right? Okay, so I don't. So I'll just
Oh, the Kraken!
cracking it up, I guess.
So you're going to make everybody discard a card? Or
Yeah. Sure,
Okay.
why not?
Discard a card.
Okay. Okay.
Discard
And
this guy.
I don't really have a good hand, so I'm getting rid of cards. Sorry, guys.
Sure.
I'm gonna panic.
You Kraken dust.
Who are you going to
I
make panic?
apologize, and I'm gonna make someone
No.
panic.
He's in the lead.
By 5.
Yeah.
You were gonna panic me, so.
Oh, panic!
Okay.
Ooh.
Panic!
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Is that like in the shot?
And then I take 3 cards.
Okay. So, those go in the discard pile.
Do we all draw back to 5?
No.
Oh.
Only at the,
At the end of your turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm going to
That makes sense,
play...
that
You've
makes
got
sense.
fewer
Sorry, guys.
options.
I'm going to
Wait,
play 5
I'm
air.
confused. Okay.
I'm confused.
I'm going to
Well-
make
You are not the only one.
Stacia discard a card
Uh-oh.
so that she can join everybody else in the 4-card club.
This is the discard for.
This is the discard pile over
Yep,
here.
yep, yep. And then I'm also going to play a panic card on Stacia.
Oh,
Man.
man. You just gave up your calm, too.
I'm gonna do something like this. I'm gonna like try to stick the anchors
Oh,
kinda like
makes
here,
sense.
so that
Makes
people
sense.
can kind of see what's going on.
And I'm going to draw my 4 cards.
Okay. Really in the shot.
And 4.
Push him up.
I've got it pretty tight in here. There we go. Been doing something awkward. It's rubbing me. Okay. Well, I need air, so 10 air. And I'll swim 10.
Nice.
And make Rob panic.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate for me.
Yep, it's pretty bad. And I will. You're the only person with 5 cards in your hand, so I'm also going to make you discard.
Oh, nice.
I guess no. Stacia only has.
I have 4.
Okay, so you also discard a card.
Okay.
Oh, knocked me out of that air bubble.
Take that.
Right on out of there.
Yeah.
1, 2.
All right. So
Alright.
then I will do. Well, don't have many choices, so 10 air,
Okay.
swim 5,
Oh.
and I'll cause a panic
Oh no, I'm
Yeah.
Oh,
panicking.
man.
and end my turn.
Okay.
Okay, so I can't move until I solve my panic, correct?
That's true. You got to play calm.
Okay, so I'm going to play a calm.
Okay. Get rid of that panic.
I'm out of panic now.
Now you got to play air.
I'm going to go... A wild could be any up to 10 move, right?
Yeah, you
Yeah, it could be any card.
It could be air 5 or 10, swim 5 or 10, panic, calm, kraken, shark, discard or draw.
Okay. You have to, no matter what, you have to draw air on your turn.
You have to play air, yeah.
Um,
I don't remember what the penalty was for not playing air, but there was a penalty.
You have to take one of the cards from your hand, put it down as a panic in
That's
front
right.
of you.
Yeah.
So you like lose a turn and you've got panic for
makes
the next
sense. Makes sense. I'm gonna go. I really want to save. I want to save this, but I'll go 10 air and I'll
Okay.
move 10.
turn. Ooh, so good. Oh man, I thought you were that one, but no,
15.
you're right. You're super in the lead.
Yeah.
You're so good at swimming.
So I have
Diving.
to put like a.
You have to
equal
get rid of a
number.
calm.
Okay.
Now I can draw back to 5 though.
Yeah, do it.
So I can do that.
Okay.
Get rid of the panic.
Yep.
Yep. Discard those cards.
And then if it's any bubble, I can do airs. Like.
Yep.
Okay, so it just has to have bubbles
You just
on
have to
it.
play air.
So that can be air for me.
So you have 5 air.
And
Okay.
then I can move 5.
Yep.
I can't move again. I can't. Okay. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
And then I draw
Up to 5.
up to 5. Oh, with this one.
I guess I'm playing some air. I guess I'm gonna draw a card.
No one's panicking each other on this round.
See if I can play
Not
some
yet.
calm. Nope, I can't play some calm. So
So that's going to be it for you, right?
yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah. It's tough.
Go ahead and give me my 2 cards.
I mean, I guess you can make people discard if you wanted to still, but...
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's gonna be garbage for me.
10 air. 10 swim.
Nice.
I thought you were panicked though. I had to-
Yeah, play that calm
Oh,
card
you
first.
are panicked.
Play that calm card first. Oh, you don't have a calm card, do you? Guess what?
Edit that right out.
Go ahead and play your air and not do anything like me.
Oh, hi, Ben.
My turn.
Guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to... Panic. Panic.
Hi there.
Panic. Everyone's panicked.
Does that panic everybody?
Yep, we're all panicked.
Even you?
I already had a
I
panic.
already had
I
panic.
can't
But
do
if you
anything
play
about
it as a panic yourself,
So, dump 1 card and draw. Oh, I guess I have to play air, like to just.
Yeah, you have to play some air.
I haven't
Yeah,
even looked
so-
at my cards.
So, yep, great.
Okay.
I'm panicking.
everyone's panicked.
Diving is a bad idea.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and calm.
Calm.
Well, he gets rid of that panic.
Yep.
Get that
Yeah,
What is
yeah.
the shark? The shark's on me.
Yeah, I gave you a
What
shark.
do I get? How do I get
Panic.
rid of it?
It's a panic card.
Okay.
What,
Calm.
is that just a panic for
Okay.
that person?
But
Or
is
the
there a
Kraken.
number?
No.
Just doesn't matter. Okay.
There's no number associated with panic.
Okay.
Then I am
Oh,
going
okay.
to
I get it, I get it, I
do.
get it.
I'm gonna do 10 air,
Oh, 10 air.
and I'm gonna
10 swim.
10 swim.
Wow.
Well,
You, sir, swam a long ways.
And then finally, I'm gonna have Sean discard card.
Devious.
well, I mean, I did make everybody panic on my turn, so like I think that's fair.
1,
Okay.
2, 3, 4.
I'm gonna go ahead and calm myself. Ben. If I only do 5 air, I can't, and I put down a 10 step, I can only go 5, right? Or does that work?
Can you do that? Can you play a
Or does that work at
10
all?
movement card if you only have 5 air?
And then go 5, or does that just not work? I would assume that just doesn't work.
Player may not play cards for a greater swim amount than he has air on this turn.
Gotcha. Okay, well then I'm going to go ahead and
You're not very
Panic.
good at
I
Wow.
don't have any
panic.
calm cards.
Oh wait,
So
are you already
panic.
panicked? You're already
Oh,
panicked.
panic.
You're already
Panic
panicked.
yourself. Panic
You
yourself.
can double panic like one of us with that shark. You
No
could-
way.
Yeah, man. You can shark us.
I could. I'll wait to double shark someone.
Don't
Why
do it,
wait?
man.
Why wait?
Yeah.
You know what?
Because he hasn't even done
You're
it.
right. You're
Don't let
right.
Rob play this game at all.
I haven't even left the surface yet.
Shut him down.
Shut him
I think I'm gonna have to shut. A double panic.
Oh,
I'm
the
gonna
sharks.
double panic, Aaron.
Man, that's rough.
Look at him. He's just. And then I'm just gonna leave it there.
Okay, drop 5. We'll put a break in there so Rob can either deal with the cat or not deal with it.
Okay, so I'm getting rid of the panic,
Okay,
and then I'm gonna.
so discard that shark and that calm card. Okay, and then you've got 5
And
air.
then I'm gonna take. I think I can do this, right? I have to get to 10 to go to 10.
Mm-hmm.
So then I can take
I mean,
5 more air.
What?
Right, I have to because the next one's 10, right? So I have to go. Is
No,
it
no,
5?
it's just
no,
you're
just-
just adding.
it's
You
just
just have to
five?
swim
Go.
5 more
Yeah.
spaces.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
So if you've got a 5 swim, just
that
play
one.
5 swim. There you go. You move 5 down, and you're at 10.
There we go. That's all.
That's all she wrote?
Don't triple panic me now.
Triple panic.
Now's the
I'm
time.
deciding if I want to go again. Actually, I'll hold on to that. So 3 more.
Not that. Let's discard.
Play some air. And I'm going to make Sean discard a card for having panicked me, and then give me 2 cards.
That's fine.
Well, hard
Wow.
decision. I guess I will
Yeah.
discard that card. Got 3 cards in my hand. I'm panicked.
You gonna stay panic?
None of those cards are calm, so I'm going to play my air. Because that's an obligation. I'm going to give you some panic.
Okay.
You're in the lead, sort of. And I'm going to do nothing else. So,
Okay. Okay. It's my turn.
yeah. We are getting close to the end of the descent phase, by the way.
I am gonna get rid of both my panics,
Okay, you're super calm.
and I then will 10 air, 10 swim,
Oh, no!
Wow.
25. And then to end everything, I will go ahead and have you discard a card.
Okay, that's fine.
Is
I'm
it?
okay with that. Yeah, I'm actually fine with that. Surprisingly. There we go.
1,
Discard.
2, 3, 4, and 5.
So I'm gonna start my turn since I only have 4 cards with a panic.
Wow.
What happens if you don't have any air?
Then you.
You have
You
to
got
put
it.
a card
You
face
can't
down
do-
as a panic card.
You lose your turn and you panic.
If I do this, though, I can draw a card, right? Or does that mean someone else draw a card? That's the draw
you
card,
can
right?
draw a card.
Yeah.
You draw a card.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that.
Sorry.
If not, I'll put it back. I'll put it back.
I think you're just verifying that you don't have to start by
I
playing
was,
air.
yeah, I was not sure if I said that you have to start by playing air.
I think you just said you had to play air on your turn.
Yeah, you must play one on your turn. So
Okay,
so
so
go
if I
ahead and
get
draw.
an air?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to also draw another card,
Okay?
just cause.
Just because he doesn't have any air.
Sorry. Those are gone. I'm
And
stuck with this
so then I can do 5 air. Or no, hold on.
So you're playing that air.
That air.
one.
And
Do you have a panic? Do you have a
And
calm?
I'm going to panic. I guess I could panic you
Thanks.
real quick, and then I'm gonna also make Aaron discard a card.
Why? What did I do to you?
I don't know, because you're kind of in you're in the lead.
Okay, so leave that one panic card and discard the rest of those cards from in front of you.
So if you
And
don't
draw
have...
5 cards.
Which might actually take us out of that takes us out of the descent phase.
Great.
Alright, I'm gonna...
Am I even allowed
Oh, it
to
did?
swim down?
I'm confused here.
Nope.
honestly, I don't know what happens in your situation.
So can I still go? Like I get
So-
to finish my turn? I'm confused
Rob is
now.
sunbathing on the beach.
Never got to go down.
You just can't hold your breath.
Welcome to Aaron's position in
Descent phase
whichever
ends.
game.
Player who drew the
Jamaica.
last card finishes his turn.
Okay.
Each other player in the round takes a final turn.
Okay.
So we're still descending.
Okay. So
Yep.
I'm gonna...
Rob.
You can do it.
Rob.
So who ended the turn?
He did.
Okay, so we're
So
gonna go
I'm
all the way
gonna...
around and then
It's mine, yeah.
You're the
yeah.
first to
I'm gonna
ascend.
use that as a calm, right? I can do that?
yeah.
And then I'm gonna do 10 air and move 10.
Does that deck not get shuffled until...
It will, but it'll be the ascent phase when it gets shuffled.
So I can't even draw a card on my turn to try to get a calm card?
And then... You can only double panic with sharks, right? On
I think
somebody?
that's true.
Okay, so that's all I can do, I guess, because the other two don't...
Alright, I play 5 air and then panic.
Calm.
Do we keep going down,
10
or is
and
it now
10.
time to go up? I'm
It's
confused
once we
now.
come back around to you, it'll be time for you to try to come up.
Oh.
Okay.
So if all of you manage to drown, I'll win the game.
True. True.
And
We didn't really get that
Yeah.
far down, did we?
But we
So
get to
just
draw cards.
whatever. Anybody who has 5 cards in their hand discards 1.
Okay.
You? No.
Me.
I have 4.
I have 5.
It's you. Yeah. Okay. So. Kraken!
I'm confused now. It's fine, we'll figure it out.
Alright,
I don't
so
have any air.
Well, before you start, he's got to get rid of a card.
Get rid of that card.
okay. My turn.
Yeah. Finish off the descent phase.
You can try go further down.
You could.
Mm-hmm.
Calm. And then I will go ahead and do 10 and 10 to swim farther down.
Damn. He's hitting 35.
Which one?
Everybody drop your anchors at your deepest place.
Okay, the player who is closest to the surface goes first.
Sweet. Sweet.
So,
We have to shuffle
Do we
these,
drop
right?
to 5 first?
yeah, I'll make sure that we...
Probably.
I think Rob should drop to 5.
You keep any cards remaining in your hand. Shuffle the deck. Create a new dive deck. Deal cards until each player has 5 cards in hand.
Okay, here we go.
That's great.
Game ends when the descent phase ends one of 2 ways. When the player draws the last card from the top of the dive deck, or when the player's player whose anchor is the deepest depth. Okay,
So if Aaron makes it to the surface, the game just ends.
yeah.
Okay.
But otherwise, we go through
Otherwise
the
we
deck.
play until the deck is empty.
Yeah. So like all that you do, I guess, is just try to make him fail.
Yeah.
Try to make everyone fail because
Yeah.
like you just have already lost
Yeah.
like
Oh,
100%.
so like panic everybody? Yeah.
So I guess this panic, like our, well, I guess I don't know.
I
Fuck
think-
it. I still have panic. Hey, guess what? I'm calm.
Hey!
Now I'm allowed to move. Guess what? I can't move anymore.
Panic someone. Make
I
someone
know,
draw.
that really sucks.
Hey, you know what?
Everybody drop to 5.
Oh, sorry.
Because if you have a Kraken, you can target everybody.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Here, you know what, Aaron? You can panic, and Sean, here you can discard a card. Stacia, you can discard a card, and then I'll draw a card.
Well, I really feel special.
And
Thank
Peyton,
you.
I'll make you discard.
No take
That's
backs.
fine.
Give me my
That's
5
okay.
cards.
Wow.
All right.
1, 2, 4, 5. All right, there you go.
Great. I'm going to play 10 air, 10 swim. That's why I'm here. And Stacia's panicked.
Great.
It's good.
What is
This game is fun.
Alright.
Yep.
So I will go ahead and
Oh.
I can use the wild as a calm,
You
right?
can.
So then that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
And then I am going to go ahead and do 5 and 5. And I will have you panic. And that'll be it.
Card needs to be closer. It's not on the camera.
I'm going to calm myself, clearing my panic. I'm going to have 10 air, move 10,
Oh.
and so my little green guy goes on to 5, and then that'll do it.
I'm gonna calm myself.
Okay.
5 air, 5 move,
Okay.
and that's it.
Well, let's see. I've got 15 air. I'm going to draw a card. Oh, yeah, great.
You have so much air, but you're on
Okay.
the surface.
So I'm going to have Peyton discard a card. I'm going to have Sean discard a card. And I'm going to use this wild card to... can I panic somebody with it? Can I do that?
Yeah, man.
Is
You could make it be a Kraken if you want.
Oh,
Make us all discard a card.
Oh, yeah. We're going to make everybody discard a card.
Okay,
Let's
so
do that.
Ew. So you want to change the order of that
Yeah.
so that I discard 2
Yeah.
cards.
I'll do that. Yeah. I'll discard. I'll make everybody discard, and then I'll make you and Peyton each discard another card,
What?
so that you're down to 3 each.
Dang.
Because I am
Discard.
cruel.
Okay.
I gotta shut you guys down. I gotta keep you from getting out.
Okay. Well,
It didn't work, did it? You're out.
I'm down to 2 cards.
I think I just discarded the wrong card, but it's okay. I just won't worry about it. I'm calm.
Oh, this would actually
I have air, and then this. Oh! The Kraken can do the other thing, can't it?
What can the Kraken do?
It can. Oh no! It discards a shark. Man.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, I have a Kraken. Everybody knows it now. But
I don't
yeah,
even
nothing
know
happens.
anymore.
I
Whatever.
could have got to the surface, but I discarded the wrong card. So whatever.
Oops.
My turn.
Yep.
Okay. I'm not panicked, which is nice. I'm gonna go ahead and do 10 for 10.
Okay, so you move here.
Oh.
And I will go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Trying to finish the game.
Just trying to
Just trying to get
move
this
things
game
along.
going. Just trying to get this game going.
He just
I'm gonna panic.
he's done, right?
Peyton.
You're gonna I have 2 cards.
Panic!
2 cards.
Well, I guess you're not gonna get to the surface this
Now
round.
you know why you're panicking.
And that's my turn.
Okay, you suck, so I'm calm. And you're panicked, so eat it.
Oh!
10 air,
Okay.
10 move.
Oh!
That puts me at 5.
Yeah.
Are you this-
Yeah, she's
I'm the orange.
She's the orange one that's right there, yeah.
And I guess that's it.
Okay.
Oh, alright. Well, let's see. I'm gonna get in here. I'm gonna play some air. I'm gonna go ahead and draw a card.
Now you have a bunch of air. That sucks.
Well, I have a bunch of calm cards,
Yeah,
which is what
calms,
sucks,
that's
yeah.
right, that's right.
Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and have Stacia panic. I'm gonna play some more calmness on myself because why not? And then I will have Peyton discard another card,
Okay.
and I'll have Sean discard another card.
Alright.
And then I draw my 5 cards.
I'm gonna discard the Kraken. So I think it's actually really useful in this circumstance because I'm gonna play my 5 air. I'm gonna swim 5.
No!
No! And then I'm going to play discard cards. I guess I'm gonna play them both on you.
Yes.
Oh!
Yes.
Okay. I challenge.
I'll do it for me.
Okay, so keeping that one.
I got a good setup.
Okay.
I'm pretty happy.
You know what that means? Make Stacia discard cards, you guys.
Just kidding.
Make her discard like 4 cards.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
discarding
like,
2.
I can't, like, the only thing to do is do
Okay.
whatever.
Does that mean it's my turn now?
Yeah.
Calm.
Oh! Some air?
Some air.
10. And I'm gonna swim for 5. And then we just keep going after.
Did you get 5 cards? Is that the whole deck?
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Okay, so
We're gonna go all the way around.
Yep.
Okay, so
So
player who drew the last card finishes turn. Each other player gets the final turn of the game ends. So you're
so
done.
that was
you're
done.
done.
Yeah,
You
you're
didn't make it
So
to
you
the
didn't
surface.
make it
So
back.
you're
Try drowned. Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
So what's the point of me drawing?
Well, you ended the
you ended
game.
the game.
Like that's
you
what
ended the game.
happened.
That's what happens. Yeah.
Okay,
Who wants
so
to trade cards?
No.
do I have to play air
You have to play
first?
air on
at
your turn.
some point?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and
You got too bold.
Yeah.
I did.
I just need 5 more to get to the surface, right?
Yeah.
So
But it was a
I'm
pretty impressive
Oh,
dive.
Oh, I'm just gonna draw cards.
gotta give
since
it to
I
you.
can't draw cards.
This guy didn't dive at all.
I'm gonna make
Why would
you get rid of a card.
That's fine. Let me. It really doesn't.
Is it fine?
And then
And then 5 air, 5 move.
oh.
And so I made it back.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, I lose.
5 air.
You just lost.
5. Wait.
You got, are you
5.
panicked? Did you get
Oh,
your
sorry.
panic?
Sorry. Calm.
Calm.
I had it. I'm out.
See, that sucks because I would have been able to make it on my next turn. If I
So
could.
does suck,
technically,
doesn't
Stacia
does.
beat me.
Okay.
She was
well,
further down.
Well,
I'm
then
gonna play
Sean.
some
Oh.
air
Depends if Sean makes it.
What are you doing?
and
Wait, what's going on? Hold on.
Panicking Sean.
oh,
Alright.
and then I'm gonna be calm.
Okay.
And then I'm going
Make him discard.
to
Make him discard.
panic.
Double
Panic.
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 Additional panic cards cannot be put out by whoever has panic in front of them.
Okay, well then I use this calm card to get rid of your panic,
No.
and then
Panic
make
me.
you panic.
Alright.
Dang.
Calm.
Cold.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter because Sean and I
You
are
guys can tie. Yeah.
I actually can swim like 20 if I want. So
He's on the sand. Just
All right,
Say, I'm
end to
out of here.
end.
I mean, you don't get
You
a
don't,
turn.
you don't get
15-15.
We're all safe on the beach, just looking at Aaron drowning in the ocean. Just
I made it.
Okay, so
the tail of Aaron has swam the furthest
Well,
and never came back.
we tied for winning.
No, it was you and me.
You are you orange?
No,
You
no,
guys
I'm
tied.
out.
We-
I got third.
You're out.
Technically, Rob, who didn't even make it down, got
For
fourth.
a brief moment, I was glancing at the rules and I thought the game ended right when the deck was just depleted. I was like, okay, Rob wins and we all lose because like no one's on the surface right
oh,
now.
that would have been amazing.
And he just like,
What a weird way to end the game, too, would have
just
been.
like,
Hold your breath.
hold your breath. I don't think this game is good.
Just jump right to it, eh?
Yeah, usually I try to talk about other things first, but I think the number one takeaway point from this is I don't think this game is very good.
Yeah.
So what we did was we played the trilogy of games. For the first time ever. We'd never...
Yep, none of us had ever played any of them. Oh, well,
we played
Get Bit.
I had not. So,
Yeah.
like, you had one of the games.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep, but no one else had played any of them, so...
So we started with Walk the Plank, and then we did Get Bit, and then we did Hold Your Breath. And I think that's important to talk about in the context of this review, because that's the context in which this game exists, is as a part of a trilogy.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah.
So
That first you are pirates and walk the plank and fall in the water.
Yeah, you're forcing each other to walk the plank until only one or two pirates remain. And then you're trying to not get eaten by a shark.
Yep. And then for whatever reason you decide to have a deep diving contest.
Yeah.
And the shark is still around.
And sometimes there's a kraken.
Yeah.
So that... I try not to harp on, like, artwork and theme, like, being a major point in games sometimes, because, like, you know, if you've got mechanics that are making it work, then that's fine. But, like, I really think that the theme actively hurts this game.
Sure.
Because it just doesn't make any
And you mean
sense.
the pirate theme in particular,
Yeah.
rather than, like, the diving
Yeah,
theme.
like, it's... Why would these pirates have a diving competition after they've evaded being eaten by a shark?
Yeah,
Like,
that it being part of the trilogy in particular is strange.
and, you know, you've got artwork on the cards where, like, there are these pirates with guns underwater.
Yeah.
And they're pointing, like, what's he going to do with those guns?
Yeah.
Like...
It's very nonsensical.
And then you send sharks after other people to make them panic. It's... Okay.
Yep.
So, I think that is, like, the biggest problem with the game. It's... Well, I mean, that's... I think I would like this game more if it weren't that theme.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because the game has, like, designer notes where it talks about how the designer originally made it as a 2-player card game because he was taking his son to diving lessons, and he was like, I'm going to make a game about this. And I don't think there's really any game that's specifically like that theme of just diving that's, you know... Are you going to prove me wrong, or are you just like...
What was Secrets of the Deep?
Yeah, but like, that's not...
Like
Like, a 2-player specific
sure
card game.
Sure.
Like, you know, it was its own little world. And I think if this were just a game about just, like, see how far you can dive,
Sure.
like, it would be really light. And I don't know how far you can take that specific concept, but I'd probably be okay with it because at face value, it's, like, really obvious that there's not much there.
Yeah.
This seems to try to make it more than what it actually is.
Okay.
And, you know, part of that is it talks about how he took it to a sort of like a competition, some sort of game competition, and like the judges kind of like helped him refine it and suggested that it make a 4-player game instead of a 2-player game, which we can talk about in a second.
Yeah.
And then once it got to beyond that, Mayday were the ones that like added the pirate theme and the bits and the board, all of which are pretty genuinely unnecessary. I don't know that like it has some kind of appeal where someone would see like the anchor piece and be like really into it and wants to play a game just because it has like
It's a pretty
unique
nice anchor.
pieces. But I kind of am more annoyed by it than usually I would be.
So you mentioned that he designed it as a 2-player game.
Yeah.
We played it with both 5 people, and then you and I both played it.
Yeah.
As a 2-player game too. I felt like it was a lot tighter in the 2-player game than it was in the 5-player game.
Yeah, it's faster.
Yeah. It felt a lot smoother overall. Notably during the 5-player game, like I just never got unpanicked, so that was problematic to me. That mechanically, the game is so dependent on you drawing cards that let you discard penalty cards like that. And if you don't manage to ever draw them, as I did during the 5-player game, you just never get to dive.
Yeah.
That was really strange to me as a problem with the game, that I could just never do anything.
I mean, it's odd because, like, I guess you could theoretically still win by never diving at all because everyone else could just not make it back to the surface in time.
Yeah.
If you burn through the deck, but then you are playing this game where you are just outright making everyone else
as miserable
suffer.
As possible, yeah. Just throwing panic cards around and discarding everything I possibly can.
And so I kind of asked you if you would have preferred to not have that 1-phase, 2-phase structure where you would have preferred to just be able to keep trying to dive and just, like, worst case scenarios, you don't make it back up to the surface.
Yeah. I mean, at least I would have been playing the game in the second half. I don't know.
Yeah. But note the 5-player experience and the 2-player experience were dramatically different. The 5-player game was real slow. Yeah. Like, it just felt like it took way too long to do whatever it was trying to accomplish. You said the 2-player game was fast. It was... we basically just did the same things, though, on our, like, respective turns back and forth. And you won just because, like, I just didn't draw the cards.
But you needed to win that round.
Yeah, to get to the surface. So it's like, well, okay.
Which is back to exactly what I was saying. That, like, just so much of this game is dependent on just luck. There's no real... You're not really making any choices. You're just picking up a hand of cards and then dropping the ones that you can use.
Yeah.
And then deciding if you want to discard the remainder or not.
I don't know what else. Iconography. I don't like the iconography for some reason. It's not even like there's not that much going on, but I got tripped up by the
discard and the draw just look kind of weirdly similar. And like they aren't that similar. Like it's obvious once you wrap your head around it, but it's really easy to look at those cards and not know what they mean.
Yeah. So, like, I understand, like, games that are language independent so that you can just print them in multiple regions or whatever, but it was just kind of like, what?
Yeah, it's, of games like that, like, this is really close to, like, the worst of, like, language independent iconography to me. Like, just something about it is confusing to everyone consistently. And then combined with just, you already talked about, like, the nonsense art on the cards for the pirates and them being underwater with guns and just everything.
All you care about most of the time is whether or not you get air or movement.
There's just a lot of stuff that is not pleasant about the aesthetic of the game, I guess, and the layout of that interface.
So, I mean, like, taking it back to how we talked about how we played the trilogy, and we played it, I would say, with a group of people who are all new to gaming, and they're in what I would say is probably the target audience for all 3 games, which is light,
entry level.
Yeah, you know, and we didn't like Walk the Plank. Like,
Mhm.
I think it's kind of like you just kind of like do whatever.
Yeah.
It's like a bad Robo Rally, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I would just rather play other programming games over that. So I kind of just went, I don't care about this. But they liked Walk the Plank.
Mm-hmm.
They enjoyed it. Then we got to Get Bit. You and I like Get Bit, and they didn't really like Get Bit.
Yeah.
Kind of like for the inverse reasons, I guess.
Mhm.
Like we liked that you had more agency of what you were doing, but
Yep.
they did not like the
Yep.
like you had to know what like sort of like I know what you're thinking and I'm gonna like anticipate
Mhm.
it. They just
Exactly.
like did not want to deal with that.
Yeah.
And then we got to Hold Your Breath, and nobody liked Hold Your Breath. Like it just
Everyone was
everyone was
miserable at the
unhappy,
end. Yeah.
and they're just like, let's just move it along and finish this off. So I think that's important to talk about. Like that's the game's failing is that that's why I keep harping on it being put in with these other games for some reason. None of them are by the same designer.
Mm-hmm.
In the more recent editions, they've sort of unified the presentation of them, but like Get Bit doesn't really look.
It is very strangely. Is also very strange in its aesthetic too. Yeah, with robots being chased by a shark.
But like, it's mechanically like its appeal is those bits that pull apart and stuff like that. Like it's got a physicality to it. The other two games don't.
Yeah.
Like they're not. They're just like kind of throwaway card games.
Mm-hmm.
And Get Bit is a more interesting game that I don't think should be lumped together with the other two.
Yeah.
And Get Bit existed first, and then they kind of like were like, well, how can we like?
How did you
build
end up
on
in the
this?
water?
Yeah.
And well, now that you're in the water,
What are you
gonna
do while you're still in the water? So the takeaway from this is that I would give it 2 separate ratings, one for like a group game and one for a 2-player game, and we only played it the 2 times.
Sure.
And that's because I would not ask people to play this with me again. I would say the 5-player game I would give like a 2. I think it was about
small.
as bad as a card game can be.
Yeah.
And feeling like you don't really have any agency over what you're doing, and it's just dependent on what cards you draw, whether or not you're successful. What cards, if someone just like dumps cards on you instead of someone else, then you're just gonna lose.
Yeah.
The 2-player game was better.
But it still wasn't good.
It still wasn't good, but like if you're gonna have to play this game, play it with 2, maybe 3.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but like I would assume that the 3-player game is probably going to be just about equatable.
Mm-hmm. Are you coming in at like a 4 for the 2-player game? A little lower than that, like a 3.75?
I think 3.5 would be about
3.5?
it. Yeah.
Okay.
But I wouldn't even recommend like if you know you're only going to play this with 2 players. Like there are other
2-player games that I would recommend over
There are
this.
2-player card games that are compact and just more interesting and dynamic than this. Like there's no way that I would say like, okay, you could get this, you could get Fungi, or you get Jaipur, and it's like this doesn't have any like merits over those other games as a 2-player game.
Yeah.
So that's Hold Your Breath.
Yeah.
I would say if you were looking for a good card game about pirates diving, should Hold Your Breath.
Should not hold your breath, right? Because you're going to wait forever.